Welcome back to our spine-chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the Empire State, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy explanation. In this eighth installment of Most Haunted Places in New York, we delve deeper into the shadows cast by ghostly legends, uncovering tales so haunting they'll leave you questioning the boundaries between the living and the dead. From the bustling streets of Manhattan to the quiet shores of Lake George, New York is a treasure trove of spectral stories rooted in tragedy, betrayal, and unrelenting sorrow. New York's haunted places are more than just locations, they're vessels carrying the echoes of lives lived and lost. These sites bear witness to events that continue to reverberate through time, battles fought on sacred ground, unsolved murders cloaked in secrecy, and the lingering presence of those who refuse to move on. Each place holds its own dark secrets, whispered through creaking floorboards, flickering lights, and disembodied voices that drift through empty halls. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these destinations promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted locales across New York, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of haunted hotels, explore eerie mansions cloaked in mystery, and tread cautiously through abandoned institutions teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of New York, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Chelsea Hotel, a ghostly grandeur in Manhattan nestled in the heart of Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood, the Chelsea Hotel stands as a monument to both artistic brilliance and profound despair, a grand architectural masterpiece whose opulent facade conceals decades of tragedy and supernatural activity. Opened in 1884, the hotel quickly became a haven for writers, musicians, artists, and eccentrics seeking inspiration amidst the chaos of New York City. With its sweeping staircases, ornate woodwork, and bohemian charm, the Chelsea epitomized creativity and rebellion. Yet beneath its polished exterior lay a darker narrative, one marked by addiction, suicide, and untimely deaths. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Chelsea Hotel revolves around Room 100, said to be haunted by the spirit of Dylan Thomas, the Welsh poet who famously declared, "I've had 18 straight whiskeys. I think that's the record," before collapsing at the hotel in 1953. Though his official cause of death was listed as pneumonia, many believe his excessive drinking played a role. Guests staying in room 100 frequently report strange occurrences, faint whispers reciting poetry, glasses clinking together on their own, and the overwhelming scent of whiskey lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets drenched in sweat, as though they've absorbed the poet's final feverish moments. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is believed to be Nancy Spungen, the girlfriend of Sex Pistols bassist Sid Vicious. In 1978, Spungen was found stabbed to death in room 100, with Vicious later arrested for her murder. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a female entity whispering phrases like, "Help me," and "Don't leave." Witnesses describe seeing a shadowy figure resembling Nancy pacing anxiously near windows, clutching what appears to be a knife before vanishing without a trace. The hotel's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has become a focal point of paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area often describe hearing chains rattling and heavy footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Some claim to see shadowy figures dragging invisible loads, their movements jerky and unnatural. A particularly chilling account comes from a maintenance worker who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the darkness before releasing him abruptly. Overnight visitors to the Chelsea Hotel frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in hallways leading to the older sections of the building. Doors slam shut on their own, and the scent of cigar smoke wafts through the air despite the hotel's strict no-smoking policy. One guest described waking up to find his reflection in the mirror staring back at him, but not quite matching his movements, as if another entity stood behind him, mimicking his actions. Another recounted seeing a man in a dusty trench coat standing at the foot of her bed, his hollow eyes boring into hers before vanishing without a sound. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Chelsea Hotel remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to book a stay, the possibility of encountering Dylan Thomas, Nancy Spungen, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor crosses its threshold, they must decide whether they are ready to face the darkness that lingers within these walls, or will they become another chapter in the hotel's tragic tale. The Amityville Horror House, elegance entangled with evil in the quiet suburban enclave of Amityville, Long Island, stands a house infamous worldwide for its association with one of the most chilling cases of alleged paranormal activity in American history, the Amityville Horror. Built in 1924, the Dutch colonial-style home at 112 Ocean Avenue initially appeared to be a picture of suburban tranquility, with its white siding, red shutters, and neatly manicured lawn. However, beneath its picturesque exterior lay a sinister legacy that would captivate and terrify the nation. The story begins on November 13, 1974, when Ronald DeFeo Jr., then 23 years old, murdered 6 members of his family inside the house using a .35 caliber rifle. Claiming he had been driven to madness by voices commanding him to kill, DeFeo's trial became a media sensation. The house sat vacant for over a year until December 1975, when George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 children, moved in. What followed has since become the stuff of legend, a 28-day ordeal during which the family claimed to experience a barrage of terrifying phenomena, including disembodied voices, green slime oozing from walls, levitating furniture, and visions of demonic entities. One of the most disturbing aspects of the Amityville case is the recurring motif of the Red Room, a hidden chamber located in the basement. According to the Lutzes, this small, windowless space exuded an overwhelming sense of evil. They reported feeling icy drafts emanating from the room, accompanied by the stench of rotting flesh. During one investigation, paranormal researchers claimed to capture EVP recordings of growling voices chanting phrases like, "Get out," and "Leave us alone." Visitors to the house, who are now allowed limited access for tours, describe feeling an inexplicable urge to flee as soon as they approach the basement door. Another prominent figure in the Amityville lore is believed to be Jody, a pig-like demon said to haunt the property. The Lutzes claim to see a pair of glowing red eyes peering at them from outside the house, belonging to a creature they nicknamed Jody. Witnesses recount sightings of a shadowy figure resembling a large hog prowling the grounds, its snout pressed against windows as though trying to peer inside. Others report hearing guttural grunts and squeals echoing through the halls, even when no animals are present. Modern-day investigations into the Amityville house have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the master bedroom and the basement. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to the original owners. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "We're here," and "You can't escape." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Amityville house continues to draw visitors eager to immerse themselves in its storied past. For those brave enough to step inside, the opportunity to encounter Jody, the vengeful spirits of the DeFeo family, or one of the countless other entities said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural charm or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic history, the Amityville house promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. The USS Salem, Shadows of War and Sorrow docked permanently in Quincy, Massachusetts. But originally hailing from New York City, the USS Salem stands as a testament to America's naval might during the Cold War era, a majestic heavy cruiser that now serves as a museum ship. Active from 1949 to 1959, the Salem played a critical role in defending U.S. interests abroad, patrolling waters from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean. Today, the weathered steel decks and towering gun turrets of the Salem bear silent witness to the violence, sacrifice, and despair that plagued those stationed aboard, and to the spirits that remain bound to its haunted confines. One of the most pervasive legends tied to the Salem centers around the engine room, where countless sailors endured grueling shifts maintaining the ship's massive propulsion systems. Historical records indicate that conditions were dire, with scorching heat, deafening noise, and constant danger exacerbating the suffering of crew members. Decades later, visitors exploring the vessel report hearing faint moans and cries emanating from the bowels of the ship. Some claim to see shadowy figures huddled in the corners, their faces obscured by darkness, while others described feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them as they descend into the lower decks. Another haunting figure associated with the Salem is believed to be Lieutenant Commander James O'Connor, a decorated officer who served aboard the ship during its final deployment. According to naval logs, O'Connor fell deeply in love with a woman he met while docked in Naples, Italy, but was killed in action before he could propose marriage. His ghost is said to wander the officers' quarters, his ethereal form clad in a tattered uniform. Guests visiting the ship have reported seeing a pale figure pacing restlessly near the bridge, his expression frozen in eternal anguish. Others describe hearing the faint clinking of spurs and the rustle of fabric, as though someone is preparing for inspection. The ship's infirmary, located just below deck, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Visitors walking among the rusted medical equipment and stained gurneys often feel an inexplicable sense of dread, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling out names unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the voices of sailors injured or killed during skirmishes. Others report seeing apparitions of men and women in period clothing, their faces gaunt and weary, lying silently amidst the remnants of the infirmary. Paranormal investigators exploring the USS Salem have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the engine room and the officers' quarters. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing in the doorway of the engine room, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the ship's reputation as one of New York's most active haunted sites. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, the USS Salem continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in defense of freedom. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, the USS Salem offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. The Rolling Hills Asylum whispers beneath the iron bars perched atop a hill overlooking East Bethany, New York. The Rolling Hills Asylum stands as a somber sentinel of pain and suffering. A sprawling institution built in 1827 that housed thousands of patients deemed mentally ill, disabled, or otherwise unwanted by society. Its thick stone walls, barred windows, and labyrinthine corridors evoke a sense of permanence and despair, yet within its halls lie stories of abuse, neglect, and vengeful spirits unwilling to fade into obscurity. One of the most infamous incidents tied to the asylum occurred in the early 1900s, when overcrowding and understaffing led to widespread mistreatment of patients. Records indicate that individuals were subjected to experimental procedures, forced isolation, and physical restraints. Many died under mysterious circumstances, their bodies buried in unmarked graves scattered across the property. Locals believe their ghosts haunt the asylum's wards, pacing anxiously as though still searching for escape. Visitors have reported hearing faint footsteps descending the staircase, followed by a deafening crash, as though someone has fallen again. Others describe seeing pale figures staring mournfully out of upstairs windows, their expressions frozen in eternal anguish. Another prominent figure in the asylum's haunted lore is believed to be Marian Wilson, a young woman admitted in the 1850s after being diagnosed with hysteria, a catch-all term used to describe any behavior deemed unladylike at the time. According to staff accounts, Marian attempted to escape multiple times, only to be caught and punished severely. She eventually succumbed to her injuries, leaving behind a legacy of sorrow that continues to haunt visitors today. Guests exploring the asylum report seeing a spectral figure perched precariously on the railing of the second-floor balcony, gazing downward as though contemplating a leap. Others describe hearing faint sobs carried by the wind, accompanied by the splash of water rippling against the riverbanks. Adding to the asylum's haunted allure are the countless gatherings and celebrations that took place within its walls during its heyday. Many believe residual energy from these events remains trapped within the adobe framework, manifesting as phantom sounds of laughter, music, and conversation. At night, when the mansion is bathed in moonlight, some visitors swear they can hear the distant strains of a piano and the low murmur of revelry, as though a party from another era continues to unfold. Paranormal investigators exploring the Luna Mansion have captured compelling evidence of its supernatural activity. Thermal cameras reveal cold spots concentrated near the staircase and the balcony railing, where many of the tragedies unfolded. Audio recordings pick up fragmented phrases like "help me" and "don't let go," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One particularly unsettling discovery came when a team member set up motion-activated cameras overnight, capturing footage of a translucent figure standing motionless at the midpoint of the staircase before vanishing without explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Luna Mansion remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely strolls. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the promise of encountering Rosita or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the adobe floors, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past? Or will they become another chapter in the mansion's macabre legacy? As we traverse the haunted landscapes of New York, from the opulent halls of La Posada de Santa Fe to the somber grounds of Fort Union, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted places captivate us? What is it about haunted places that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. The core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, haunted places contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight-or-flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears, the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through New York's most haunted places to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of New York's haunted places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.